We're down to 3 for the Lucas title. It happened again between Brad Sweet and James McFadden. David Gravel might have saved his title hopes. Stewart Friesen unstoppable, and a lot more today. Let's go. It's Sunday, October 13th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Eldora Speedway's final big event of 2024 starts this coming Thursday with the 44th Dirt Track World Championship. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series finale highlights the weekend with modified super stocks and steel block late models also on the card. If you're going to be in town, make sure to stop by the Whistle Stop and grab something good to eat. Just a 7-mile ride straight south of the racetrack to Ansonia. All week, you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner, pizza, and you can even get some food to bring back to the track with you, if you're camping or something and you don't want to cook. And when you stop into the Whistle Stop, they've got a full bar, so you can enjoy a nice adult beverage while you're there. Andrew and his staff do a great job, so if you stop in, make sure to tell them that DIRTRACKR sent you. If you want to ride just a little bit further south, head to Schott Tap House in Greenville, Ohio. It's a great place to eat, drink, and play. We've got a full menu plus all sorts of adult beverage options on tap, self-pour, plus the Bullseye Game Lounge upstairs. They got duck pin bowling and 24 arcade games. When you're not at the track, keep yourself fed and entertained with these two establishments, the Whistle Stop and Schott Tap House. Thanks to them for their support of Eldora Speedway and of this show. I want to roll through a bunch of different topics from the last few days of racing. I want to start first with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at Brownstown and this championship chase. Ricky Thornton Jr. bounced back in a big way this weekend thanks to the Friday night victory and a second place finish last night. We head to Eldora this week, and he's 50 points clear of Jonathan Davenport and Devin Moran. Those two are tied. And I think in terms of winning this title and the finale being at Eldora, that cushion could end up being really important come next Saturday night. We don't need to talk about Davenport's prowess at Eldora and obviously that special race car, but things do line up in his favor. And barring a crazy track surface like we saw at the Dirt Track World Championship last season that created absolute chaos, Davenport is going to be the guy to beat. Needing to overcome a 50-point deficit, though, definitely gives, I think, a slight edge to RTJ. Davenport can gain 10 points by going quick time, so if he does that and wins the main event, RTJ still wins the title by finishing 4th. And that's the case because the first tiebreaker is victories, and RTJ has Davenport beat there. The same would be true with Moran, who is tied in the standings with Davenport. If neither Moran or JD go quick time, that means RTJ can finish as low as 6th. The one big caveat here, though, is Thornton wasn't particularly good during the World 100. 10th and 14th in the prelims and 20th in the big show. If he's that far down next Saturday, even that 50-point cushion won't save him. And the other driver I haven't mentioned here is Tim McCready, and that's because the Rocket 1 and McCready, they're just basically out of this fight at this point. He trails RTJ by 165 points and JD and Moran by 125. He's not technically mathematically eliminated just yet, but as soon as everybody signs in, they get 50 points. There are just not many paths left for McCready. Thornton can sign in, finish DFL in the feature, and still beat McCready by 30 points if T-Mac is quick time and wins. McCready had a near spin on Friday, had to go to the back. He finished 19th. That one bad night took him completely out of this thing. Before we move on as well, a big hat tip and a welcome back to Mike Marlar. Second Friday in the big winner last night. He hadn't led laps in a Lucas feature since Lernerville in June and hadn't won since Golden Isles in February. He looked like a completely different guy than we've seen the last few months. Lucas hits the track Friday at Eldora for prelim action. At the Texas Motor Speedway Dirt Track, Brad Sweet and Brent Marks close out the 2024 Kubota High Limit Sprint Car Series season with victories. Sweet outdueled Darren Pittman on Friday, and Marks took advantage of Pittman held up in lap traffic on Saturday to sneak by for the win. Pittman obviously driving the 69K. That's a long ways off the porch for Don Kreis and that team. Marks hadn't won a high limit race since Grandview back in May, and there was clearly some relief from him afterwards. I'll be really curious to see if this $50,000 check and securing a high limit charter position will be enough to keep him on the road for 2025. We talked last week about him mulling his future, and between the 19 and the questions around the Roth 83, we could have two teams that secured charter spots not return full-time to the series next year. In that case, I don't know if those charters would then go to the next two teams down the order this year. That would be the Myers 14 and the Buick 13, or if they would just award two more after next season's racing. I have to believe that there will be and has been a lot of jockeying and text messages and phone calls and conversations from Brad Sweet and his team trying to secure drivers and sprint car teams for next year. Looking at the 16 full-timers that completed the season, I think there could be as many as 7 with major question marks for the future, and that doesn't include Corey Eliason and that 8 car, which we already know won't return. That 7 does include Marks and McFadden, the CJB5. We don't know what's going to happen with Parker Price Miller, and we don't know what's up with Myers 14, as I still haven't heard a clear schedule for Corey Day. And there are potentially 2 others I could see making changes as well. So if all of those teams don't return, can Sweet fill the gaps with new full-timers or poach from the Outlaws? We will definitely have to see. And speaking of Sweet, he again tangled with James McFadden last night in a situation that looked similar to Salina earlier this year. Racing inside the top 10, Sweet tried to take advantage of a wider line into 3 from McFadden with 8 to go, and it did not go well. The track was narrow for most of that main event, and I think that really played a part. I think Sweet saw that as his one chance to try and move up, but the full send dive was just ill-advised. And when it comes to Brad Sweet, these are just not mistakes we see him make it very often, and the 2 times here recently we've seen them make them, it's happened to the same guy. The same guy's been the victim. McFadden saw it late and tried to drive out of it, but it was to no avail. He went tumbling into the turn 4 wall off the right rear of the Napa 49. J-Mac obviously upset, and Sweet did admit it was his fault. I think under normal circumstances, this is a bad look for sure. Nobody wants to get wheeled, but when Sweet owns the series, it's made that much worse. He's going to take more heat because of his position. And similar to the Scales incident, and this reminds me, what's that line from Top Gun? You need to be doing it better and cleaner than the next guy. I definitely think that applies here to Sweet. Afterwards on the track, McFadden told Tony Laporta, quote, "Not the way I want to end my deal over here," unquote, which seemed to confirm that he won't be back in the U.S. full-time next year. That's been the rumor for a while. We discussed it last week also. 2 other quick mentions. Ryan Timms, good again in the Lee Big Ten, 5th and 3rd. He's continued to be impressive here lately. And Tyler Courtney, strong enough late in the season to take back 2nd in the standings by just 1 point over Rico Abreu. Now we'll wait on silly season to play out for High Limit and for their schedule. Lots of interesting things being discussed for the High Limit schedule for next year. With the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, David Gravel likely saved his championship hopes driving through the field at Lincoln Speedway back to 9th after a 2nd lap crash saw him get upside down last night. There didn't actually end up being much damage to the big game, too, with those guys just, I believe, replacing the top wing. Carson Macedo did gain ground, but probably not enough, as the difference between Macedo and Gravel headed to Joliet is still 72 points. Donnie Schatz left with the win after Sheldon Hodenshield caught the turn 3 wall all by himself while leading on lap 26. Sheldon outgave the lead to Schatz, who drove on to win number 5 on the year. Sheldon, just again, one of the most exciting drivers in sprint car racing, can win anywhere, but is still sometimes just his own worst enemy. While High Limit is done for the season, the Outlaws still have 2 nights at Joliet, 2 at Riverside, and 3 at World Finals still to come. We did have some heat race drama last night when Dallas Schott climbed the left rear of Jordan Givler in Heat 4 into Turn 1. Both went tumbling into the corner, and while Givler was being interviewed on Dirt Vision, Schott gave him a little shove and had something to say about the incident with some choice language. Certainly not something we see every day, somebody getting shoved live on Dirt Vision, and Schott was eventually DQ'd for the rest of the night because he had a crew member come out on the racetrack who could also be seen flipping someone off as they walked back to the pits. The other big show on the weekend was Super Dirt Week at Oswego. Stewart Friesen basically putting an absolute butt kicking on the field. He led all 200 laps for his 6th career event win. That tied him with Brett Hearn for the most all time. I thought the racing and the track were great, though, and I think Oswego was really starting to settle in here as the home of Super Dirt Week. I know there's always going to be those people that lament the fairgrounds. They want to be back at Syracuse. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but I think this has been pretty good here lately. Jimmy Phelps, Matt Williamson also on the night's podium. Williamson was able to cut down Matt Shepard's Super Dirt Car Series points lead a bit with just World Finals here left. 15 points separate these two. Williamson also took down the 358 win, while Matt Janzik was your Sportsman Modified winner, and Bo Ballard took the Pro Stock victory. Other weekend late model winners included Ryan Gustin and Chris Simpson with the MLRA. Ethan Dotson was a $20,000 Comp Cams winner at Magnolia. Michael Page won a pair of crate features at Dixie, and Corey Hedgecock was a $12,000 winner at Richmond. In sprint car action, Logan Seavey and Briggs Danner split USAC wins at Lawrenceburg. 84 points separate Seavey and Brady Bacon for that USAC sprint car title with just one race weekend left. Cole Duncan won the fast finale at Atomic, while Brandon Spithaler claimed the championship. Spithaler didn't have a great finish in that one, but Zane DeVault had mechanical woes all night that took him out of contention. Joby Miller and Hank Davis were weekend ASCS winners, and Power Eye Midget wins went to Dazen Pursley, Cannon McIntosh, and Jacob Denny. In California, Tanner Carrick was a Sprint Car Challenge Tour winner, and we've got even more intrigue with the NARC Sprint Cars. Cole Macedo won at Tulare last night, and with Justin Sanders losing an engine and finishing 16th, Macedo has retaken the NARC Championship lead. 11 points separate the two with just 3 races left. Oh, we'll call it good right there for today. Feel free to drop your thoughts and comments on the dirt racing weekend below. I'm sure several of these situations you guys will have opinions about. Hope you guys have a great Sunday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.